Hello, welcome back to the Nasty Metal Production channel here at YouTube. Definitely got done filming another video, which you definitely have already seen. So, of course you're seeing this on Monday, which I said in that last video. Doesn't really matter. So, this of course is another overrated or underrated series episode, which is episode number 7. So, of course, you probably know the rules for this game, and if you don't, the rules are going to be in the description box, which is below you, right under the video, right under, on top of the comments section. So, it's definitely get in. Of course, in that last video, I said that this album was playing, which of course is Witchblade, Goldenest Eld. Yes. That's pretty much the best way that I can pronounce the name of the album. Swedish heavy metal band, kind of part of the new wave of traditional heavy metal. Great band, actually. And I did an album review for this, and this was also featured in my top 20, I believe. 25, I think. 25 or 20 the best metal albums of 2015. Just a great album. It's around 28 minutes. It's definitely not very long, but it just packs a punch. Just sweet. A guitar solo is going to come out that's actually pretty damn good. Yeah, this is fucking great. This is a goddamn good album. Really, one of the best bands that come out of here. The lyrics are sung in their own native language, which is rarely I see from a lot of Swedish metal bands, but this is just done their way. It's very much a solid album, just fucking memorable. Just great album. So this is not about Witchblade. This is me about, of course, the obscure bands that are in this box, which I'm going to shake up right now. And here I am. I have my eyes closed, so I can pick out the band names. So I can keep it very random. Even though they're folded, it's just best to keep your eyes closed. And now it's closed. Back up. Let's see what this is. And we'll see if it's if I think it's overrated or underrated. Alright, so this is a new wave of British heavy metal band. This band was also talked about in LJ's video, Biosite. This is Getty's Axe. A band I've definitely heard before. Definitely before High Roller ever did that compilation album. Again, through downloading. So this is some of the best. It's one of the best ways to actually get to hear, the obscure stuff, because most of the time the obscure shit will always be found at ridiculous prices, and sometimes even some will tend to be crap, and some will tend to be good, and some will tend to be okay. Which is where Getty's Axe falls into. They're an okay band. I think like Escape from New York City, I think one of the EPs is called, which is, of course, obviously must have been inspired by the Kurt Russell film. But then there was another single that was also released, and then there's the Sharpen Your Wits single, which is actually my favorite from the band. It's okay. It's at times middle of the road, but you know what? I really dig. I think because it's just got better riffage, I guess, a bit more, little inspired, I guess. But if anything, the band, I guess, can be considered overrated in some ways, but overrated doesn't always mean crap. The band is just like, sometimes it can be hit and miss. But I don't think the band's really up there as far as the pantheons of the new wave of British heavy metal. But they definitely are a good band and are definitely, you know, tolerable in some ways. Just for me, the Sharpen Your Wits is like the only thing I really, really like by Geddy's Axe. So, there we go. Let's definitely get back in for the second band. Alright, see what this is. Alright, here's another new wave of British heavy metal band. And I actually have something by this band. So you know what? I'm gonna grab it. There's actually, I think right in here. Fuck. This thing's gonna end up falling. Ugh. Where is it? It's in here. Fuck. It's not, it's gonna be in the second bottom. Oh god. This thing better not fucking fall. Here it is. Grabbing it. It's another High Roller Records release. The band that I picked out was Scarab. Best known for releasing the Poltergeist single, which had the Hell on Wheels track, which of course used the same sort of cover right here. It's just a little different, sort of, even though it's still, you know, inverted. What can I say about Scarab? They really are not that bad of a band. As far as this disc goes, I really tend to listen to the first disc because of it really almost fits as like a full-length album, practically. As far as to describe this band's sound, they're kind of close to the sound of Virtue. They're close to the sound of like Tokyo Blade. They have a bit, again, as far as that, you know, as far as the style of riffage and music, not lyric-wise, but very musical-wise. It's kind of very similar. It's very metallic-sounding stuff. Again, it's really close to the likes of like Tokyo Blade and Virtue. I guess there's some other bands in there, but you know, the only thing that might be overrated about this band is probably the single, if anything, because before this compilation was ever released, the only thing that they had was the single. It was an overhyped single, just like the Virtue. You know, I even went on the, you know, I think I remember seeing it on the Vibrations of Doom site in the classic album section. But when I went to join Heavy Metal Rarities, everyone was talking about it was either Virtue or Scarab at times when it came to the, you know, to the new wave of British heavy metal. Definitely a overhyped single because it's really not all that great. It's still a fun listen, actually. I still tend to. That and the Virtue single I still like to listen to. But as far as the new wave of British heavy metal goes, this doesn't even come as close. But yet the first disc, I think, is the quality of the music on here and the, you know, the songs, I think are actually better than the Scarab single. It's like there's a track in there called For Whom the Bell Toll. I wonder how many bands have, you know, used the name, you know, For Whom the Bell Toll for their song. Either Metallica, it was fucking London, it was freaking, I think, then again, I think that track was written by Blackie Lawless, which even Wasp, I think, covered it, or released a track called For Whom the Bell Toll. And here, Scarab has a track called For Whom the Bell Toll. They're all different tracks. Horseman of the Apocalypse is also a pretty good track on here. And of course, you got Hell on Wheels, but to me, the version on here is much better than the one that's on the single. You got Rolling Like Thunder, which is another great track, and Into the Labyrinth. Just really a good band, actually. I wouldn't say they're really underrated, but the songs on the first disc are more underrated than the Poltergeist single. So, kind of a mix between overrated and underrated. Even though that's like an oxymoron, I guess. But good band. Here's another interesting fact though about Scarab. If I am correct, I think the drummer that's on the Rolling Like Thunder and Into the Labyrinth tracks is the drummer that would for a stint playing it's a death metal band actually, and definitely a pretty known UK death metal band. If their name can come to me. Oh jeez. I've checked out the band before. I'm gonna fall into a blank real soon. Oh god, you know what? Benediction. One of the I think it's the drummer on the Rolling Like Thunder and Into the Labyrinth tracks, I think, are the only 2 tracks that actually have the drummer that would, for a stint, playing Benediction. So that's definitely something interesting about Scarab. So yeah, ties to a death metal band. So until that, actually I'm still not done yet. So let's definitely get back in. This is the last band for this video. And we've made it to the last track of the Witchblade album. Alright, got it. But this is another good track. That freaking wah-wah pedal on the guitar, I tend to actually like that sound. It just works so good for this. Okay, so what's the band I picked out of here? And here's another band that I have in my collection. I pretty much have their whole entire discography. Let me go get it. It's a German metal band. But I'm gonna come with that anyway, so I'm gonna put it back right over here. I've played this band before on some of my videos. I'm not gonna probably link you to those videos, but it's Mad Butcher. Definitely, I'm just gonna come out and say it. Underrated German metal band. Really, just an underrated band. And of course, this band was on the Earthshaker label, but I really like this band. Metal Lightning Attack, which is the only album that was released on the Earthshaker label. Actually, some raw speed metal that at times kind of goes that leans a bit on the thrashy side a bit. Even though their name is taken from a Destruction track, that's what people say, but it comes out that Mad Butcher were actually formed before Destruction even, was even a band. It's like, I think a year before actually, like 1981, 82. Destruction, I think, were from like either 82 or 83, but they've had the name before Destruction made it into a song. But their music is also kind of close to even Living Death, especially singer Metal Harry. Yet he has an I'm not gonna butcher his last name, but he also has a website that also kind of goes into the the detail behind the band Mad Butcher, which I actually will leave in the description box if I can find the link to that site. But really, this is just some raw speed, thrashy, heavy metal. Some good tracks as well, like Rock Shock. Of course, there's a track on there called Mad Butcher. It's just raw music, actually, and it's definitely the best, actually, I would say, on the Earthshaker label. But then, after that, the band did record a second album, but it wouldn't be released until the band split up, and it would be picked up by everybody's favorite Metalploitation label. Yeah, which was Metal Enterprises, which was actually my first video I ever did, was me talking about the Metal Enterprises label. I may leave a link to that as well. Actually, this is actually a pretty underrated album. Many people, even though many people don't really give a shit about Mad Butcher, and I've seen a lot of people that give him shit, but this sounds actually also pretty damn good, and this is a bootleg actually. This right here, I guess, can be 10 as a bootleg because I've definitely spoke with the guy at No Remorse Records. Yes, this is a No Remorse Records release, and it's one of the earliest No Remorse Records releases, which is right there, which of course is in the same Motorhead-like font. But yeah. But here, right, this is more a little step up from this album, if you ask. Just, I think because the drumming is a little more faster. This one almost leans more on almost on the European power metal side of things. Almost, it's got a bit of a power metal sort of touch to it. Tracks such as Loser, Flesh in the Night, Free Wind, Machine, Hypnotized, Silhouette in Red, Children of Tomorrow. This is actually a damn good album. Drivin', which of course mentions my home state, not Susanville, Fresno, California. But yeah. Here's also another interesting thing. Even though many people probably never heard of Mad Butcher, if they did, probably was years ago. Because Dave Lombardo of Slayer actually wore a Mad Butcher shirt. And I think it's during either Rain and Blood or even the South of Heaven album during those shows. And I have actually, there is a recorded show where that I think is on one of the DVDs for I think the, oh god, I forgot that, a compilation disc. But he's wearing a freaking Mad Butcher shirt. And there's actually a photo of Mad Butcher hanging out with Slayer during the really early days of Slayer. And these guys were definitely some metalheads, that's for sure. And of course, even Mad Butcher even played shows with Anvil and Killer, the Belgian band. And here in the liner notes, they give thanks out to some of those guys, especially even Slayer. So that definitely kind of says a lot. So definitely a pretty cool past as well that I just gave out. Really, not a bad band actually. Just one band that just seems to not be on everybody's high listening list, which I can see. But for me, I like Mad Butcher, and the band did also go on to release a few other stuff under different names. One of them being a blues band. I think it was Red House or something like that. So yeah, they went on to different projects and such. But still, and there is a lot of bluesy guitar playing anyway on their sounds. So again, kind of letting people know on where they're from and what their other influences, what inspired them to pick up, a guitar in the first place, and what pick up the instrument, what made them to go on to record, music. So, babbled on right there. So, hope you enjoyed this video, and until then, this is Hippie Thrasher saying I'm out, and I'll see you later.